MrTransformers96 here with another video review. This time I'm going to be ranking my top 5 least favorite movies of the year. I did the same type of video, but I just did it with my top 5 best movies of the year, regular movies, and now I'm doing my worst ones. For both of these lists, I'm not taking into consideration comic book movies or Rogue One, simply because I'm making an entirely separate video where I'm going to be just ranking all 6 superhero movies as well as Rogue One from my least favorite to my favorite of the year. So this video would just be regular movies from my least favorite to, or sorry, from my from the one that I disliked the least to the one that I disliked the most, basically. And this video is just about like worst movies. Most disappointing is kind of a separate topic. I would say, like, for me, my most disappointing movies would be Nice Guys. I was really looking forward to that, and it disappointed me. Star Trek Beyond, that one disappointed me, and oh, Hail Caesar, that was another one. I thought that one could be really good, and it disappointed me as well. Just so you can kind of get a look, I see a lot of movies each year, and here is a list of the movies that I've seen this year. So, yeah, I do go to the movies a lot. I love the movies. You know, movies and toys, those are my two things. Alright, so I've seen 130 individual movies this year. So I do have a lot to choose from. Obviously, I didn't see every movie, so there's going to be quite a few horrible movies that I didn't see. However, you know, I'm not going to lie, I did see some horrible movies this year. So let's get started. My fifth, the one that I disliked the least out of these, would be Assassin's Creed. I really hated this film. I just saw it maybe like a week ago, and man, it is bad. Now, I don't play Assassin's Creed. I've never done anything with the game, so maybe big fans of the game will have enjoyed it a bit more, and don't hate on me if you did like it. You know, that's awesome if you did. But for me personally, I did not like Assassin's Creed. I think that the story was incredibly weak. The character development was just awful. I know nothing about the main character, and the main character was sentenced to death for murder. You know, you think there would be an interesting backstory there, but we were never told it. So really stupid. The lighting in the film is awful. I don't know what the director of photography has, like some sort of obsession with just like having light shine into the lens of the camera. I mean, that looks cool for like a still, but for like a full scene, you can hardly see what's happening because all you see is just a massive shot of light, and it's edited really poorly, horribly done with the fight scenes. You can basically barely see what's happening because they're cutting from multiple different things at once, and therefore you never get a clear shot of actually what's happening. There's one fight scene where it happens on like a horse and buggy, like people are fighting, and they have literally just taken the scene and just put it on fast forward to make it look like the carriage is going faster, which obviously you need it to go fast to build that intensity, but you can't do that because then everybody else is just moving in fast forward. I mean, it didn't look real. It looked like somebody, was watching a movie and they pressed fast forward. It was stupid. I really hated this movie. Oh, I have no idea what is it called? Like the apple? The seed? I don't know what it is, but that little like ball thing that's supposed to destroy the Assassin's Creed. What is that? It's never explained. I have no idea. So hated that movie. It was awful. Fourth place goes to I have trouble saying this. Indignation. This movie, I see a lot of small dramas like this. I do enjoy them, so I went and saw this one, and I have a very high tolerance for slow movies because I see slow movies a lot, and I can really appreciate them. I don't get bored from movies easily. This movie, though, wow, this one really bored me. I couldn't have been more bored in this film. Myself, I went with somebody else. There was another person in the theater, and then there was a set of 2 people in the theater. And by the end of the movie, myself and the person I was with were the only ones still in there. Everybody else had left and presumably got a refund. But it was super boring. There was just nothing redeeming about it. I kind of like the way the first shot and the last shot of this movie are nice, but the entire middle section is just awful, and it's painful to sit through. It really is. Now, I did see several comedies this year, and most comedies I go into expecting them to be bad, and usually they are, but with a few fun jokes, so they're basically what I expect. But there were a couple comedies this year that I saw that were just even worse than I could possibly imagine, and one of them for me is Boo! Medea's Halloween. I don't watch many Madea movies. I've seen like a few others, I think, but it's been a very long time. This one I didn't want to see, but I was kind of drugged to it, and man, it is hard to sit through. it's really, the jokes don't land. I think that there's a lot of characters that are very cartoonish, which, Medea is supposed to be like that, but there were some of the side characters that were just way overboard. A lot of the scenes just drag on way too long. Like, they're obviously just kind of, playing off of each other, which is great when comedians can do that, but man, you gotta cut it at some point, You can't go over the same topic 60,000 times and try to say the same punchline to get more laughs, because you hear it once, you need to move on to something else. It was painful to sit through. I absolutely hated it. I didn't expect it to be good, don't get me wrong, but it was hard to sit through. Then we have My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, another one that I did not want to see, but was drugged to, and just like Medea's Halloween, it's awful, but I certainly wasn't expecting it to be good, but again, it was just hard to sit through. Really, really bad. The jokes didn't land. The plot was just stupid. Pretty horrible. And then now my number one movie that I hated the most this year, and that it was awful to sit through, was Independence Day. Like Resurgence, was it? Whatever, I don't remember what the subtitle is, but Independence Day 2, basically. This movie I thought could be cool. I certainly wasn't expecting anything too great, but I thought, hey, it could be really fun. And then the reviews started to come out of it, and I didn't, read the reviews. I just saw the percentage that was at on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was at a really low percentage. So I figured, it's probably going to suck, but hey, it's going to be fun. I'll still be able to enjoy the action sequences. And man, this movie was horrid. It has about 7 characters too many. I mean, this has so many characters that you're supposed to know that are so useless and are just so uninteresting that I could care less about them every single time that they were shown. And they keep jumping from character to character to character, trying to set them up at the beginning. But there's just way too many characters. I could care less about them. The movie's plot is extremely standard and extremely lazy, and the action sequences aren't even fun. And it's some of the acting is pretty bad as well. And it's hard to sit through. There's a point in this movie where it's like almost over at this point, and then they introduce a whole set of kids as new characters. The movie couldn't get more overcrowded, and then they tried to jam in here a school bus full of children with their own backstories. It was awful. The writer, I would say that the writer is maybe the person that deserves the most blame for this. The director should have obviously stepped in though and cut this off if it was in the script, but way too many characters, and there's not a single character that you give a crap about, let me tell you. So there's my list of my 5 most disappointing movies not most disappointing, my 5 worst movies that I saw this year. Some others that I wrote down here. What do I have? Oh, Passengers. Passengers, I thought could be pretty good. It was really bad, horribly edited. Then we have Allegiant. Allegiant was awful. I didn't really expect much of it though, but that was just pretty terrible. So there you go. There were some great movies this year, but there were certainly some bad ones. And there's my list of the 5 that I saw that I personally felt were the worst. So stay tuned for my video where I rank my 5 favorite regular movies, and then the video where I rank my Superhero and Rogue One from my least favorite to my favorite. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of my picks, and let me know which are the worst movies that you saw this year.